Merhaba, bonjour. สวัสดีค่ะ Hello everybody. When you guys learn a foreign language, you guys probably want to get to talk to someone for real. But what if you try to talk to that someone and that person reply back to you in English? So what do you do when that happens? In this video, I'm going to talk about how I overcome that, how I managed to get people to talk to me in their language, and also I'll share my experiences, and I want to discuss about the pros and the cons of each method. So let's start. Before we go on to how to solve this problem, first we need to take a look at some reasons. Why do people start talking to you in English when you try to talk to them in the language that you're studying? Many people get discouraged and very frustrated. Many people ask themselves, why is my language skill not good enough? Why are people so rude? I mean, this can be the reason, but there's so much more reasons to this, and let me list them out for you. So aside from you not speaking the language well, which really could be the reason, and you really should try to always improve your language skill, other reasons are maybe people in that country or in that community are not used to seeing foreigners speaking in their native tongue. Maybe it's a language not like English. Let's say English, everybody speaks English, but let's say Thai people are not used to seeing foreigners, so it's a sure thing that they will try to speak in English thinking that you don't know Thai. Another reason could be because they are also learning English. If you go to the main city, mostly main cities, a lot of people want to learn English and they want to be able to practice and with native foreigners. Just like you want to practice the language, they also want to practice English. Maybe it's just because they really want to be helpful and they think that you don't know the language and they want to help you. They want to try to speak in English with you even though they're not good. It could also be because they think that their English is better than your language skill. Maybe because you show them some foreigner pronunciation, and in this case you really have to practice your pronunciation. Another common reason is the lack of confidence. When you talk to people, if you talk in a very low tone of voice or you show that you're not confident, maybe you're questioning. Let's say you're saying, do I like it? You don't have to put that sound up, but since you do that, it shows that you're not confident. So that is also the cause of other people trying to use English with you. Maybe they speak English better than the language that you're studying, and they just prefer to speak English. And it's not your fault or anything, but they just want to speak English. They prefer it that way. I never get discouraged or angry when people try to talk to me in English, even though I try to talk to them in their native tongue. I take it as a test or quiz or a little challenge for me. I remember that when I was in Brazil, my goal was to talk to the coconut seller and make them think that like Japanese Brazilian, because there are quite a number of Japanese Brazilians in Brazil. And I tried very hard. I drank like 100 cocos in Brazil, maybe more than 100 cocos. But in the end, I didn't succeed, and everybody know that I'm not Brazilian. But every time I go talk to them, it's just fun, to like do this test every time. Will that person realize that, know that I am not Brazilian? Throughout my language learning journey, I have tried numerous methods that works and that doesn't work. One method that works is to insist on speaking the language that I'm learning with the native speaker. Let's say I'm learning Korean. I would keep on speaking Korean, even though that person keep replying to me in English. And I find that if I get enough time to show that my Korean is better than that person's English, they will switch back to their native tongue, which is Korean. But if in the case that my Korean is not as good as their English, and that they decide to not switch back, I would give in, and I would just feel like, okay, this is not my day, and I would let it go, and maybe I would go back home and study very hard. What if you say, please speak the language with me? Let's say Korean. Please speak Korean with me. If you do it with the serious face, I find that this doesn't work because it's really shut people down. But if you say it nicely and you give good reasons, because I'm learning the language, because I love the food here, because I want to live here, because I want to enjoy my life in Korea, something like that, then I find that this really opens people up. They will start to help you practice your language, and even sometimes correcting your mistakes and helping you. What if you say, I don't speak English? I find that this really shut people down. If you say that, then all of a sudden they will stop talking to you. I find it better to say, I speak the language, let's say Korean in this case again. I speak Korean better than English. This way, people will switch back. Oh, okay, you speak Korean better than English, then let me speak to you in Korean. But the best method that I want to share with you, and that I know that works for me every time, is to initiate the conversation. So I'll start off a conversation with an introduction. I will introduce myself as a language lover, as a learner, and as someone who loves the culture very much. And I would start off with real enthusiasm. When people look into my eyes, they will know that I'm really willing to learn. I really want to know about not only the culture, not only the language, but about them as a person. And this will really open them up. And whatever language that I try to talk to them, they will talk back to me in that language. It's an automatic response because they want to help me. They see my enthusiasm in my eyes. Now I want to give you a little trick from my own experience. I find that as an individual talking to you one-on-one, many times people would switch to English for various reasons, just like what I mentioned before. But if you're lucky enough to find the native speaker in a community, in a group, then that is the best way to practice the language. Because as a group, even though some person might speak English really well, but as a group, when they're with a friend of the same nationality, they would avoid speaking in other language because maybe they're not as good in other language and they're afraid of being judged. So you can take that. This is an advantage for you because you will hear them a lot speaking in their native tongue, and through that also you get to practice with them in their native tongue. But keep in mind that my advice is for people that can communicate and can understand up to a certain level. Because if you don't understand anything at all, if you cannot speak anything, and you keep insisting that other people talk to you in their native language, then I think it would just be annoying to them. Because remember that they're not your teacher and they don't have that much patience. Alright guys, so thank you so much for watching this video, and I really hope that these tips will help you. And if you have tried some method that works for you and that doesn't work for you, I really want to see that in the comment section. We'll go and read every single comment that you have. Thank you very much. See you guys. Bye.